Thank you for tuning into another episode of Timeoutalk. I'm your host, Michael Mark Simpson, and today we were discussing why you should give AEW a chance. Alrighty, first things first. AEW is in the process of building their identity. And what that means is they don't have a reputation. All they have is very talented wrestlers and great wrestling minds. They're doing everything right from a marketing standpoint. It's just the fans' job to actually tune in and watch. They have to work with what they have, because I'd much rather have a bunch of unpopular superstars than a bunch of superstars who don't have any talent. And AEW is full of talent. That's the thing that a lot of us fans see, but we don't really care about the talent if they're not entertaining us. It's the same problem we have with Roman Reigns in WWE. He was being pushed to the top, and the fans couldn't stand it because they truly felt like he was not entertaining enough to be at the top. And that's the same problem these superstars have. That those superstars who aren't named Cody Rhodes, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson, and Jon Moxley, they're not going to get genuine reactions. And then, truth be told, those 5 people aren't drawing in skyrocketing crowds as much as they used to. And the reason why is because they had to dedicate themselves to All Elite Wrestling. They had to put all their focus in All Elite Wrestling. And they had to build a company. They're in the process of building a company. That is not an easy task. Build that reputation. And the only way you're going to build that reputation is by doing it, honestly. And that's by doing shows every single week, doing what they're doing right now. This stuff takes time. And that's why I feel like we have to give them a chance. We can't rush this process, because if we try to rush it, they're going to have the same problem WCW had. They rose to stardom too quickly, and they lost that stardom just as quickly as they got it. And right now it's a little stale. Right now it's a little corny, because it has to be. There's no other way to build anything without time. You can't. Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't rush this process. So that's one reason why I think that we have to give AEW a chance. They are truly in the process of building their identity. As long as you're a loyal fan and you truly do love professional wrestling, I promise you AEW will give you a reason to watch. For the second reason, we have a lot of unselfish popularity over there. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody Rhodes are doing everything in their power to not steal the shine. When WCW was a thing, it was built around Hulk Hogan when he came. So when you have that, and your focus is on nothing but the main talent, and you're putting all your money in the main talent, what happens to the rest of the shit? They're building for the future. This is a step that they have to take, because it's not just about them. It's about everybody else involved in the company. We have Kenny Omega. We could push him to the moon, but we're going to get tired of Kenny Omega. Eventually, Kenny Omega needs to fight a formidable opponent. Same thing goes to Jon Moxley. Same thing goes to the Young Bucks. Same thing goes to Cody Rhodes. They can't just fight each other. They can every now and then, but it's much better off giving them actual talent. And the only way you're going to get that talent is by breeding them yourself. And that's exactly what AEW is doing. They're breeding that talent themselves. So that's the second reason why I think that we have to give them a chance, because they're taking a risk at being very unselfish. The third reason is because of the fact that they genuinely have great wrestling minds involved in the company. From the older ones like Chris Jericho, Diamond Dallas Page, to the not so older ones but not so younger ones in Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, and the Young Bucks. But when I say great minds, those are the main 4 people I am nudging towards. And the reason is because the Young Bucks were a huge reason why tag team wrestling is as popular as it is today. They are almost the living. They're like the living example of what a tag team is. They're the best at it on the microphone, in the ring. They took a completely different route in becoming the most popular tag team in all of wrestling. And they did that with starting their YouTube channel, becoming the best wrestlers in the industry, in the tag team division. Really what they did is they did everything in their power to become popular. And now they're not only popular in the wrestling world, they're just genuinely popular. They gave us like a behind the scenes of what's really going on, and they make us fans feel involved in what they have going on. But the reason why they have great minds is, let's just take a look at Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes, at the end of the day, Cody was working for the WWE. He was working behind Triple H, who runs NXT. He was working for Vince McMahon, who runs the WWE. He was working with great minds like CM Punk, John Cena, Randy Orton, people who were genuinely good at their job. He was able to learn from that. He just wasn't able to apply it to the WWE. It wasn't his time. It was not his calling. He's exactly where he should be right now. He knows how to breed a superstar. From a superstar standpoint and from a business standpoint, he knows how to breed a superstar. And then you have Kenny Omega, the person who literally has been all over the world twice. This man has been dedicating his life to wrestling, and it wasn't so nice to him at first. So he had to scratch and claw for everything he wanted, and then he worked his way up to becoming the IWGP champion for almost a full year. And that was one of the greatest things in his life, because that was like a huge time for him, because all that work he put in finally felt like it was being appreciated. All those years of not being the most popular, but being the best, but not being the most popular, he put in all that work just for it to it took time for it to pay off, and now it's paying off in AEW. And he said that, I'm not gonna just do this for me. He could have been stingy and said, I want all of it. No, he decided to take his time into letting other wrestlers from other countries like Nakazawa, and there's another one who I can't remember her name, but he's spending his time helping and mentoring these talents to become popular in this division, in this promotion. He's doing everything he can to give them popularity, because he knew how hard it was being in their shoes. And then you have the Young Bucks, completely revamping the tag team division. Tag team wrestling wasn't really thought of that much until the Young Bucks became popular again. The last tag team that we knew and loved were the Hardy Boys, and even they became a little bit unpopular. And the Young Bucks, they put on a great match with the Young Bucks in Ring of Honor, and that's really what kind of gave them a little bit of juice back. But really, it set the Young Bucks to a higher level, because they finally took the crown as the best tag team. And they said, okay, we're not going to just focus on us now. We're going to focus on other tag teams, let them gain popularity, and we're going to do everything in our power to support them, because we know that this can work, and we know that we know talent when we see talent. And they did a great job in becoming popular in their own regards. It took them a long time. It took them almost 10 years. So when you have tag team wrestling covered, women's wrestling covered, and you have great storylines to tell, I personally think that you're in a great situation. For the fourth reason, it has a little bit to do with the last reason, and that's that they have a great foundation already. Let's take a look at Cody Rhodes' backstory with Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes was a great wrestler, but he wasn't just a great wrestler. He was a great producer. He was great backstage. He had a knack for talent. Even though he didn't have a knack for all the talent, he still had a knack for talent. And he worked for WCW. He also worked for an older company, NWA, and he was a booker in both those companies and a wrestler. Cody Rhodes is in those same shoes, like father, like son. Cody Rhodes was a big reason on why All In, this entire thing, he's a big reason on why that was even popular. That was one of the most record-breaking scenarios I've ever witnessed, and it got the attention it deserved. Cody Rhodes won the NWA championship, and it was an emotional moment for him. That right there started this entire AEW thing. It gave Tony Khan an idea, and he ran with the idea because he knew what he wanted. That was that right there is like the heart of AEW. We just don't see it that way yet, because they haven't gave us a reason to feel that way yet, because they've only had a year. It's only been a year. Give it 5 years, they're gonna get better, because they do this every single day. And then you have Kenny Omega. Just look at what he did in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Look how much of a big deal him defeating Kujiko Okada was. Kenny Omega could be the piece to start a bunch of wars outside of just this promotion. And then you have the Young Bucks revamping the tag team division. And if there's anybody else who can do that, it's the Young Bucks. Mount Rushmore of AEW. We have to give this company time. Don't give up on them just because it's a little boring right now. The only reason it's boring is because we haven't truly invested into AEW. It's time to build off of that foundation, and that's what they're doing. We just don't see it that way yet. And the last reason on why I think we need to give AEW a chance is because they offer a fresh perspective of wrestling for fans and performers. Before, WWE was at the top of the mountain, like always. But not everybody could make it in WWE. Not everybody feels comfortable working for a company like WWE. WWE is a money-making machine. They want to make as much money as they can, and if you can't fit the mold, you can't fit the mold. It's as simple as that. And in AEW, they're taking a different approach. And you can tell that because of the fact that they're not being selfish. Like, the Young Bucks could be the champions, Cody Rhodes could be the mid-card champion, and Kenny Omega could be the world champion. I know they don't have a mid-card belt, but this is all hypothetical speaking. Kenny Omega could be their main champion, Cody Rhodes could be the focal point, taking over a lot, and the Young Bucks could be the main champion, and then they could be holding everybody down like WWE probably would have had to do. Like back in the day, Hulk Hogan was the main champion. They built around the most popular guy. We're in a time where they truly believe that you don't have to be the most popular person in the world to be champion. You just have to be the best performer. We don't know how to appreciate the art of professional wrestling. And the thing about AEW is they don't just do it for the fans either. Because if they did, Kenny Omega would be champion right now. They're doing it for the boys backstage, and they're doing it to put on the best show. The only way you're going to put on the best show is by having happy wrestlers. And right now, they're doing everything in their power to give the underappreciated wrestlers an opportunity to shine. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to give you guys a different perspective on what's to come. To build the best show, and to do that, you have to take a lot of sacrifices. And they're taking those sacrifices. So that's my last reason on why we need to give AEW a chance. Because if we don't give AEW a chance, who will? And then we're just going to watch this company go under. And that's not going to sit right with us, because then we're going to know Cody Rhodes couldn't do it. And truth be told, I think that he can. It's kind of up to us at this point whether we want to be loyal or not. Now, one thing I'd change about one thing I would love to change about AEW, that's going city to city. I understand it. I understand why they do it. When you go city to city, not everybody's going to react to your superstars just because you go city to city. I know that they're not trying to be like every other independent scene, but truth be told, look at NXT. NXT started in one city, and you're staying in the same city. It's like home for those wrestlers and those fans, right? And now any type of talent you bring in, they're going to be genuinely accepted, and it's a lot easier for them to get over. Why? Because these fans are truly invested in your brand, because it's hometown. This is where the home is at. You do that, it makes it easier for these wrestlers to become popular. Especially in AEW's situation, it makes it really easy for these superstars to become popular because they're already used to this. You make it a lot easier for your performers to perform. You make it a lot easier for the fans to gain attachment, because like I said, it's like homegrown. It's homegrown talent, and the only way to do that is by giving them a home. Let these guys build at home. Let them become superstars in their own regards, like Johnny Gargano did, Tommaso Ciampa did. Do that. I feel like that saves you a lot of money as well. That cuts out the transportation issues. And then you could do it in one city, and then let your pay-per-views go city to city like NXT did. That is a great formula right there, and it's working, and it's golden for Triple H. And a lot of people see it as how he only was able to do that because he was working for WWE. Okay, fine. Well, AEW was in the same situation because Tony Khan offered them a lot of money. He put a lot of money on the line. He has to make that money back. He probably is, but when you're spending your money on transportation, And a lot of wrestlers and production, I don't even want to go into how much money they're spending. Right now, they're probably not making a bunch of it back. But that could just be for right now. I feel like a way to avoid that, a way to build and actually like build a lot of money is by doing it in one city, making the most money off that you can in that city, and then that's when you start going city to city. Thanks for watching this episode of Timeoutalk. Stay tuned for the next episode. I'm your host, Michael Mark Simpson. Follow us.